Hi everyone. So this is AFM Stories, and I am excited that we are in another edition of Scholars Life. Like today, I'm really excited for the guest that we have today. But before I introduce her, let me just give you guys a brief rundown of what this is about. So my name is Faith Agbola, and I am very much passionate about inspiring young people to achieve their dreams by sharing stories, speaking to people, teaching lessons, and for now, I'm focusing on educational opportunities. I have a YouTube channel which has interviews with scholars, a complete series on traveling because I won the traveling scholarship, and then the recordings of some of these Zoom sessions on Scholars Life. So today's guest is Dr. Mary Jane. Oh my God, when I saw some people's bios that you read and you be like, okay, okay. Anyways, she literally got admission into the number one school in the world, University of Oxford, number one school in the world, not in a country, not in a city, in the entire world. And she got admission with 3 scholarships to choose from. I'm sure that we're all excited to listen to her. I'm sure that we're all excited to learn from her. I really want to hear her story. I really want to, just get lessons out of her so that for those who have dreams of getting into Oxford or want to win multiple scholarships, I believe that we're going to learn a whole lot. So hi, Dr. Mary Jane. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for coming on board. We're really happy because I know that it's not so easy to study a master's and also still make out times for things like this, but you have done so, and I'm really grateful. So how are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm good. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm happy to be here, and I hope that whatever I share can help at least one person. I'll be very happy. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help a whole lot of people. I'm also here to learn as well because I don't mind doing a PhD in Oxford.
Yes, girl. Yes, absolutely.
So today, the first question I always tend to ask people before we even, go into the nitty-gritty of everything is, do you think that anybody can win a scholarship? So many people think that scholarship is for a special set of people, or it's hard, or you have to be, I don't know, phenomenal in a certain kind of way. What do you think? Do you think anybody can win a scholarship?
Yes, I do actually. I believe that if you put your mind to it, if you're very intentional about it, I think anyone can win a scholarship. It's not set aside for special people. It's set aside for people who know what they want and know what to do and are dedicated enough to do everything together.
I really like that. So you guys have heard it from someone that won 3 scholarships. Anybody can win a scholarship. You just literally have to put in the work. So let's talk about your journey before the journey. Let's take it back a little, some years back, before now. What led you into the path that you're on? Do you think you're going to be in the UK studying the number one school in the world with 3 scholarships to choose from before you eventually chose one? Let's hear the journey before the journey.
No, actually. Okay, so let's say while I was in med school, I didn't even think about that. I had a different career plan, and I guess just about a year after med school, I decided, or I changed my plans. So when I changed my plans, I started working on, getting a master's degree or putting that in my 10-year career plan. And then I started working. So in fact, I applied initially the previous year, last year, but I didn't apply to the UK. I didn't even apply to Oxford because it's such a big school, and there's this thing that you're like, oh my God, I don't think I'm good enough. Yes, absolutely, yeah. So there was a friend of mine that encouraged me, said, come on, you can do it, just apply, because you don't lose anything by applying. And then I did. Now we're here.
Oh wow! So you literally, it was a friend that just motivated you.
Oh yeah.
Was it just Oxford you applied to?
Oh no, okay. I got admitted to I think 9 different schools in total. I applied to the UK, I applied to Germany, I also applied to Spain, but I got admitted to Oxford, so that takes precedence over every other.
Yeah. So when you decided that you wanted to study a master's, what was the next step that you did? You knew that you wanted to study on a scholarship, right? So what was the next thing that you did? Can you just walk us through that process? How did you find out about the different scholarships that you got as well?
Okay, so the thing I'll say is that Google is your friend. I think at this time and age, we have so much. We are blessed, I would say, with so much access to information. And if you're a young person trying to make a difference in the world, you should take advantage of that, because 10 years ago, we didn't have the plethora of information or the access to information that we have now, So for me, what I did was I just went on Google and started sharing scholarships and searching for scholarships. I mean, there's so many of them. And thanks to social media, Twitter, Instagram, you get to see some of the scholarships, like the Evening Scholarship. They have a very good, strong online presence. The Commonwealth, not so much, but I mean, you can always find them on Google. So, I mean, there's so many websites.
You just type a random Google search, right?
Yes, it was just that. And
then for social media, did you follow like some specific pages?
Oh, yeah. So, Opportunity Desk, Scholarship, I think Scholarship Corner, Scholarship Story. There's like Opportunity for Africans, Opportunity for Youths, all those kind of websites and social media pages. I follow them and then turned on their notification posts. I still have it turned on. So every time
Trust
they post
me,
something,
I still have it as well.
Yeah. So every time they post any opportunity, it might not even be for me. I could always share it like with my network of people that I know that would benefit from it. So I Googled, I followed all these pages, checked out the requirements for the scholarships, and then like to find out if I was eligible for some of them. And those of them that were eligible for, I read through the eligibility criteria and started working towards doing that. So being eligible. I mean, it's called getting a scholarship. I mean, for a master's degree, I think with a relevant experience, or maybe in the field of interest, you might get admitted. But a scholarship requires, I think, a bit more. Yeah. So I started working towards that. Yeah. That was. I mean,
so
I was
working towards that. What were the specific things you did?
Right. So, in all honesty, I hadn't. So the things that happened, or the things that I was doing, I wasn't doing them. The things I was doing, I didn't do them in, like, I was preparing for a scholarship. But it turns out that
it prepared you.
Yeah, exactly, because I didn't even know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I didn't plan that. Oh, I was going to do this, and then I was preparing for a scholarship. I just realized that when I was going through my Google search, and then stories of other scholars, these were the things that some of the organizations were looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I give it as advice to people that want to apply. I mean, if you have time, you can be more prepared. You can take your time and work towards whatever it is. Maybe it's something that you don't have in your CV right now. You can take out the time to prepare if maybe say you want to apply in the future or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay, so just to help people, because I feel like sometimes you might need to break some things down. So you got a scholarship for public health, right?
Yeah, well, international health, but yeah.
International health, yeah, that's just the short form. Because I don't want to miss any word.
Yeah, it's fine.
So what were you okay, the first thing is we've not even figured out what specific scholarships that you got. I know you got Commonwealth. I know you got ExxonMobil.
Yeah, also I got Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, and then ExxonMobil Scholarship. But that's nice. The one I chose eventually, yeah.
Wow. Obviously. Get to why and how.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to be clear, because there are people that need like a breakdown. So you got a master's in public health, and you say that the things that you had done had kind of like prepared you for it. So can you be specific about those things in relation to like the eligibility criteria? So
okay. So the thing is, I mean, so it's my personal opinion that you don't have to have like the best, like maybe best graduating student or first class result to get a scholarship. I know people that have gotten scholarships with less than that. So that's one thing that
two.
people,
I know two at
yes,
least
exactly.
in my court
Yeah,
in
2-2.
Chemney right now.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So that's something that we need to get out of the way, especially because most people are so worried that if they don't get a first class, they're not going to get a scholarship. So let's get that out of the way. You don't need a first class to get a scholarship.
you don't even need
Now,
a 2-1 if you have strong
yeah.
experience.
Yes, exactly. So second thing is your work experience. Now, most times I've noticed that when we say work experience, people always think that it's paid work experience.
Yeah.
But it's not. So it's aside from your paid work experience, is experience that you have in your field of interest. It could be paid and unpaid. It could be voluntary, mostly voluntary actually. So for public health, for example, so I was very actively involved in a lot of volunteer work, community-based projects, women empowerment projects, leadership projects, and stuff like that.
And they were volunteer. Okay, yeah, they're volunteer.
Yeah, all of them were. The only thing that I think, okay, those came later. And the funny thing is that I had already submitted my applications before I started getting maybe
some of them
funded opportunities, right? So most of every other thing that I did and I put in my application were all volunteer, unpaid work, so to say. Let me just say it like that. So, yeah, it's funny because someone asked for my CV, the one that I applied to Oxford with, because they have their own specific, like it has to be 2 pages.
We are going to get into that, but
so I went through it. I was like, oh my. And I looked through it, I was like, oh my god, so I hadn't even changed my CV before I even sent this application. That's very interesting, because when things happen, you get to lose time and lose track of time. So I was going through, I was like, oh, okay. So I think it's just very important, especially if you're going to public health, which is like my area of interest, to be very actively involved in your community. Whether you're paid or not paid, doesn't matter. If you're already working in an NGO, it's fine, doesn't matter. But just that you can demonstrate your activity and your involvement in your community development, especially
and in relation to the course that you want to study, or general.
Okay. So the thing is this, right? Because it's public health has like different aspects. I mean, there's a plethora. So it could just literally be any community activity. And it could also be something, for me, it was a mix of things, because I was doing a lot of leadership work, but I'm basically interested in adolescent health, and I did work or stuff in relation to that. Yeah, so as I was saying, so it's basically, it doesn't have to specifically be in your field of interest, but if it is, it'll be great. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you said work experience, you're not grades is not really that important. Is there anything else for scholarships that you would say gave you like an edge?
What gave me an edge? I think it's very important as a young person, if you're trying to make, trying to find your voice, or trying to stand out, or trying to be a thought leader in a specific field. I think it's very important to know exactly what you want to do. Like, I think sitting down and thinking about your 10-year plan and working your way back to where you are right now, it gives you this vision. And if you have that clarity, it's very important. And that clarity will transcend every aspect of your life, your CV, your essay, your interview, depending on your school. If you get interviews, depending on the scholarship, if you have like one-on-one interview, like that's very important. So if I were going to give one single advice to anyone listening, it would be to sit down after this and write down a 10-year plan.
Yeah. Because the truth is that for most scholarships, they're going to ask you for your life goals, and it's going to be short, medium, and long-term goals. And I always tell people, like, they don't want to see short-term goals, something, medium, another thing, long-term, something off. Like, they're going to be like, do you know where you're going?
Let me share it.
Or your long-term goal. Okay, you want to share something?
Let me share something. So someone reached out to me. She had applied for my course, but she didn't get it. the same set like last year, right? So this which would have been, she would have been my classmate. So we just got talking. She got it to the interview stage, so it means that she had a strong application.
Oh, what
so
scholarship was that? The same?
No, just
Okay.
my course, just
Okay.
to the masters, yeah. So I spoke to her. I said, okay, what happened? Let's talk about your interview, because the CV was okay, your application form was okay, your letter of your statement of purpose was okay. That's why you got into the interview. So whatever went wrong must have gone wrong
Was in
at
the
that
interview.
She was telling me about her phone got stolen the day before the interview. Her laptop got stolen the day before the interview. She was somewhere
Wow.
in northern Nigeria where she couldn't buy a new phone. So she had to borrow a phone to do the interview. And then she was using the phone or the laptop, and then people just kept calling the line and then interrupting the interview. And that wasn't just all. She said something. I said, okay, let's talk about how you answer the question, because definitely you're going to write your long-term, your career plans in your essay, and they're going to ask you about it, and you're like, guess
they're
what?
going to ask you how you intend to achieve them.
To achieve it. Guess
not
what?
Not just writing it.
Everything she wrote in her essay was different from what she said to them. Yeah. So
God.
I mean,
when
obviously, like it's something that it didn't even occur to her until we had a conversation about it, and we actually spoke about it. She's like, oh my God, I see. I mean, aside from all the technical issues that she had, that was something that it showed them that you don't know where you want to go.
Yeah.
And they're spending how much, 60,000-70,000 pounds on you, depending on your course and your cost of living, and you're just gonna waste it. So no, yeah.
Like, and the thing is, for me, like like you said, like have a 10-year plan, because the truth is, even if you don't, if you ask me my sleep fate, where do you want to be in 5 years, I can tell you that. Where do you want to be in 10 years? So even if I lose my phone, lose my computer, I will still say the same thing, because sometimes interviews are not even direct. They might not even say, oh, tell me your short-term goals, oh, tell me your medium-term goals. They're going to ask you questions that are going to basically try to see if you've really thought it through. So there was something in my interview that I said I wanted to have I think a hub. And then the woman looked at me and she was like, do you know the financial, like, do you know how much you're going to spend to get that? I'm like, oh yeah, I already have a venue. It's just that I need this and this. And she was like, oh, okay. But imagine I was just like, oh, I want to stay up, and it's like, oh, okay, don't worry, so it's not ready. Because it's one thing to have big dreams, because I feel like having big dreams is good, thinking it through, but knowing exactly how you are going to achieve it. Like, okay, let's say you want to change a particular space, particular aspect in the health space. So let's say you can't just say, oh, I want to eradicate malaria. Like, you're going to be like, okay, how do you want to eradicate malaria? Like, when they ask you how, what are you going to say? Do you get? So don't just do it because you want to get a scholarship, because that's when things like this are going to happen. Like, you have to really understand it and mean it.
Yeah. And it has to be feasible and practical. You know, I'm currently working on a mentorship program for the University of Oxford for like applicants for next year.
Yes, apply you.
Oh yeah, you can check Oxford Africa. It's like they have a website and you can apply. Anyway, so I went through one of the mentees. I went through his essay, and then he starts essay talking about his financial background, and I said that's such a terrible mistake to do, because even people that are not so financially stable, it's a lot of money, like especially studying in the UK or studying abroad is expensive. So
yes.
And do you know how many people? Do you know how many people financial? Yes, exactly. You know how many people have financial difficulties? That cannot be your basis. That's and you know, these people get how many thousands? I hear it's over 500,000 students come to the UK every year, international students. Now, if 500,000 international students come to the UK, how many applications do they receive in total every year? Do you think they've not read it all? So your essay has to be feasible. Don't play
the PT card.
Yeah. Yes.
Especially if for like MasterCard, Commonwealth, that they even say, oh, they want people from low income background. it should be like 10% of your essay. It can't be the basis of everything that you're writing. And then I think for like Oxford, Chevening, I'm not even sure you should mention it. Like,
oh, so the funny thing, when I read that, I told him in my course, I said they even write it and on the website. They say that financial difficulty is not the basis for admission. So they're not going.
So you have to know the particular scholarship, like because there was someone's essay I was reviewing for Chevening, and his basis for wanting to study abroad was because he I think he said that he doesn't have funds. He's the breadwinner of the family. He wants the scholarship to help him to be empowered. Okay, fine. Empowered to do what? To be what? It was just basically writing it like, oh, just give me the money, help me. See, the truth is, the first thing that we need to get clear is that yes, they want to help you, but they want to help a lot of people. So they want people that can be like a conduit. So as they've helped me, like they funded me, they funded her, they know that through our work, we can reach like thousands of people. So like they don't just want to say, oh, help you and your family. It's you and your community, you and your world. And when you start thinking about that, you realize that it's not about you. It's really about the work that you want to do. Do you get? So anyways, let's now go into Oxford in itself, because I'm sure that there are people that here that want to apply to Oxford. Me, I want to apply. Like before today, I even went to go and check their PhD courses because I'm like, okay, I've tried this. But anyways, let's go into Oxford first before we even go into like the other ones. So Oxford, like. What were the steps that you took? So your friend told you try Oxford, and you were like, okay, what was like the first thing that you did? You went there knowing fully well that you were like, God, can I enter this? But like just walk us through it, and then focus on like the eligibility criteria, what they were looking for, and the different things that you might need to submit and things like that. Just walk us through like the application process.
Okay, so the first thing I did was obviously go through their websites. Google is your friend. Please, I keep saying this because I get a lot of messages from people. In fact, I just got a message from someone before I came on this call, and the person, I shared a website with the person, and the person came back asking me, oh, is this website just for the UK? And I've already shared the website with you. Why can't you just click it and see what opportunities are there? Google is your friend.
People want you to do the work for them, and that's what hurts me.
That's the funny thing. Yeah. So the research, I can't do the research for you. It's not my prerogative. I can guide you. I can help you, but it's for you to sit down and put in the work. If you're not ready, you're not, then please don't bother.
Because even the masters in itself, you will do research. You will write reports. You will write essays.
Girl.
So start practicing now.
So the funny thing is that Google is your friend. Like you can lie on your bed and get the information of anything you want, right? So just go on the website. I Googled MSc International Health Medicine, Oxford came up. I went through their website, and there's a lot of resources there, a lot of information. Checked it, checked what I needed. So basically, you need a statement of purpose, your CV, obviously, and you need reference letters.
Okay, let's talk about those three first. So statement of purpose, what do you think is needed for a Oxford statement of purpose? Not just normal statement of purpose, Oxford. Like, that there's Oxford in this.
So I wrote a blog. I posted something some months back about how to write a good statement of purpose. I could share it with you. Maybe you share it with you.
Still tell us. So we will read that one for backup plan.
Yeah. No, so what I did was, so the first thing is that if your statement of purpose has a word count or a page count, my dear, please, I beg of you,
don't exceed it.
Because that's the first level of application elimination. Your essay will never get read. Your application will not see the light of day. They'll just check exactly. If it's longer than maybe say 500 words. They throw it away. You want to force?
You're just giving them easy work.
Easy, yes.
Exactly.
So they discarded that's the first step of elimination. So if it's 500 words, it's 1 page. Whether you want to, I advise people to reduce the font size because you're going to submit it as a PDF file. They can zoom on it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So if you submit it as a PDF file, it can be zoomed on, even if it's size 10 or size 11, you still see it. So the first thing is talking about yourself. So I basically, it's the generic advice I wrote on the blog, but I'm going to give it to you. So what makes you an eligible candidate for a master's degree? That's the first introductory part. Why do you want to do this course? What is it about you that makes you special? What is it about you that makes you stand out about like from other people, the other applicants? Is it your maybe, so for example, it could be that, or maybe you did some work, regarding your area of interest. It could be that maybe you graduated best in your class. It could be that you got some kind of, maybe you mentioned that you have like 3 or 4 years work experience. It could be anything, but these would be qualities that make you special. So for me, one of the things I did was, what are the qualities of a good MSc candidate? Google. So because sometimes you have qualities, but you're not able to voice it out. You're not able to put it down on paper. I'm not asking you to go and copy and paste.
Because that's another problem. Don't write what everybody else writes. That's the end.
Yes. So, but I think for me, it gave me structure. It helped me look at myself through that lens of a master's student, and I was being able to extract the qualities that I think that I had. So that's the first part of your essay. So academic achievement, work achievement, all that. You want to put it there. The second part is yourself and the institution. I love the structure of this essay because it's like straight to the point. So how do you and the institution come together? People should go and do like research about your course. Look for modules that either relate to the work that you've been doing or the work that you intend to do in the future.
Exactly.
And then marry it together and put it into your essay. So you could say something like, oh, the module in something and something would help me improve the work that I'm doing in this area. Or you like to, something that I'm not going to give you a structure of your essay. You get to do that by yourself. But I'm just giving you ideas, right?
Give us something now.
Yeah. So, but basically, just look for some of the modules and marry it either with your current work, your future work, or something like that. And then talk about the university. Praise them small. And if it's also, they're the best university in the world. You say you look forward to the opportunity to study in the best school in the world, to network with professors, alumni, students, things like that. That shows that you have taken out the time to do the research.
And then be specific about those things as well. Don't just say the professors. If there's somebody in that course, their name or their work, it's always good to put it in, I think.
Yeah, and all those things are on the course website. Every information you need is there. No, they're not hiding it from you. And then the last part is your plans, the career plans. So what are you going to do immediately you graduate? Maybe 1 year. Well, the way that I did it, I think I did an immediate 1 year plan. Then I did intermediate and a long-term plan. So long-term obviously is 10 years.
Same here as well.
Yeah. So that's what we were talking about earlier, Faith, when we said you have to have a 10-year career plan. It really helps. It makes things easy for you moving forward. So the last part of your essay is your career plan. Like that's the way that I would advise anyone to structure it. And don't forget, if you have a word count, if you have a page count, you must abide to it. If not, your essay will not get read.
So you feel like the first thing is you talk about what's special about you. Can you be specific? Because I don't want people to go and say, oh, maybe they are special because they have, I don't know, a talent.
You're
or
right,
like,
because
what kind of
people,
things do you think
so
that
I just said, like,
especially for Oxford? It's Oxford we're talking about here. I'm serious.
So what do you have any? So it could be anything. Do you have any achievements, like academic achievements, You could say you have 3 or 4 years work experience. For my course, they're looking for people that have this experience in low and middle income countries. So do you have that? Say I have 3 years experience working with certain, or you could say in a clinical work, group work, it could be humanitarian setting, it could be community work, it could be clinical work, it could be literally anything. So you could be your academic achievement, professional achievement. Did you graduate as best student? So this is a very good point. So some of you that maybe you didn't get, like the first class, a good way to put yourself would say, I graduated as the top 1% of my class or top 10%. Do you understand? So depending on where you are, please don't lie.
Exactly.
Please, can I say that whatever it is you decide to put in your essay has to be facts. Please don't lie.
Because they're gonna verify it.
They're gonna verify the information. Please don't even bother. Don't even shoot yourself. Like, don't even start. So just things like that. So academic achievement, work achievement. It could be that, like you could say something like you're a team player, something like that. Obviously, your essays, the structure of your essay is your responsibility. But like I said, add those with the qualities that make a good master student, and then marry it together based on the information that you're able to extract, that you have, the qualities that you have, and put that as your first part of your essay while telling the truth.
All right, so the next thing was CV. So just tell us how, like, Oxford would like their CVs, things that people should include, what structure.
So for the CV, I would say that, so my course, depending on your course, my course said 2 pages. And I know for some people that have a lot of experience, it's hard to compress your CV to a 2-page document. But the fun tip is, reduce your font size. That's what they go to, because
I think I'm going to start doing that, because I'm always having that issue as well.
Yeah, PDF files can be zoomed down, so reduce your font size, send it as a PDF, and you're fine. For the structure of the CV, obviously, like your education, please don't include secondary education. These are some of the things that are non-relevant. Your primary school is non-relevant. Secondary school is non-relevant. It's just your university, where you did your course. That's okay for education. And then the next would be maybe coursework. It could be conferences, it could be workshops, depending on what you've done. You can list those.
Basically, so if you've been like a speaker, you could list that as well.
Absolutely. Yes. So so the volunteer would come under community service. So
what are the headings? Because what if there's somebody here that has not even written a CV for Oxford?
So the first would be
it's for Oxford.
The first would be, for my CV, the way my CV is structured. But the thing is, now I'm giving you the way my current CV is structured, because the girl has upgraded.
Yeah.
But before, like, if we're going to talk about the CV that I submitted, I didn't even have this, but it's great if you have it. It's called competencies. So your competencies could be, Google it, then you can just check different examples. It could be teamwork, it could be maybe you're good at using Microsoft, it could be, different things like that. Like, it could be soft or hard skills. What things can you do? Are you good at organizing, planning, things like that? So you have that after your name, obviously. And your competencies. The next thing is your education. Education, like I said, just uni is fine, unless you've done any other master's course. And the next thing would be like workshops.
If you have a master's already, though, do you think it can help or affect you? Especially if it's abroad or in your country, Sha?
I don't think it's I think my personal opinion would be that it might even be helpful.
Okay.
I think so, yeah. I think it might be helpful. Whatever education that you have, please, your qualifications, put them in there. Next would be like conferences. Like I said, if you've been a speaker, whatever it is, put it in there. Then your work experience. For this work experience, I would say just put like paid work experience. Then the next would be like leadership or
Community.
community service. So community service will take on your unpaid work experience, your volunteering, all that. And then you could have...
Sorry, in this work experience, I know that typically CVs, you might explain exactly what you did. Did you explain in yours?
Yeah, I did. So obviously don't go too much in detail because you need your space, like you need like space to write other stuff, but 2 or 3 lines won't hurt to describe
what's best
the role,
to include in that 2 or 3 lines.
2 or 3 lines. So, it would depend on the kind of work. For me, like maybe if it was a clinical thing that I did, I would mention that. Like say, okay, I managed cases or managed patients, different cases in different departments, something like that. If it was like a more administrative role, you could say that you were, overseeing maybe 20 or 30 people in a designated role. Something that's sort of like
strong.
Something, not just generic and say, oh, you were just
or worked with,
well,
or did.
no.
Think
Not
about the specific things. Like for me, I was trying to do things like, so if like for this particular organization that I helped them to improve like their web reach, so I just said, community manager grew the community from this number to this number. I feel like if you have this kind of figures, it would help as well.
Absolutely, you're correct. That's true. So, not too generic, something that showed your active involvement in that organization, I would say. Then, same thing for your community service and leadership, or I did it community service / leadership. So all your volunteer work, writing them down. Obviously, for someone like me, I had a lot, so I had to choose the most relevant. So choose the most relevant to, like, so for example, I was in my community service leadership role, I was vice president while I was in med school and president of a medical school association. All those are in my CV, but when it was time for Oxford, I took them out because I had more relevant experience and leadership roles. Do you understand? So obviously the ones that you believe that will make the most impact, and maybe even most recent, I guess.
Yeah, recent.
But if you have most recent. But if you have something that happened a while ago that has a strong impact, obviously put in there. But when comparing like leading or overseeing the work of 2,000 volunteers to being school president, obviously you can agree that class rep, you understand. So I mean, so it's your business
though. Like it really depends on your reality. That's just it. Because for someone that might not have that many, it's still good to put it as a class rep. And then in that role, don't just say I was the class rep. Maybe you improved academic performances, you created,
or even student welfare, things like that. Like for us, like we did something like really, really significant while I was still, president. So something like that. Like I said, your strongest and most recent work, like something very strong, For me, I have things that were stronger. That's why I chose, to take them out. But I'm just saying. Then after that, your award. So if you have even if you were just nominated, you got an award, any of all that, put it in there. So many. Even
if it's an award that was given to you by 5 people or 1 person, no one likes you.
No. The funny thing is, I had forgotten. Yeah, I've forgotten something that I actually got, and I just added them to my CV like last week. So, sometimes when that's why it's important to like document when things happen, because it might get overwhelming as your life goes on. So, your awards, networks. If you're part of any network, it could be an organization that you're volunteering with. It could be a leadership network. It could be a fellowship. It could be anything. If you're part of any professional body, put them all down. Then
if you attended a boot camp, I think mostly boot camps, creative events,
fellowships,
literally, even if it was 1 day, put
it in there. Especially for young people like us, where we don't have a lot of experience. So like 0 to 3 or 0 to 5 years experience,
or 0 to 2.
all this.
Or 1, like I know someone that literally just finished NYSC and got training this year. I was like, Where was the volunteering? He had been volunteering before, like in school. All his school experiences, he was able to like hide them up. Like you just have to find this special thing and just bring it forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then obviously like second to last would be like your leisure activities. What do you call that? Hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Hobbies. So what do you like doing? There is a talk. I don't know how true it is, but people say that some of your hobbies should somehow make you a better candidate. I don't know. For example, let's say you like volunteering. You could say volunteering as a hobby, or you could say attending functions or
networking,
engagement or networking. Those things make you look. Obviously, I didn't have those. I wrote my
sleeping.
I wrote my real hobbies, which are reading. I love traveling. I love working out, things like that. That's what I wrote. But depending on you, you can write something else that will make it seem more interesting. You understand? And then
I get you.
Obviously, it's like available on request. And that's it. That's the structure of the CV. Like that's the structure of my CV.
All right, so let's go into the references. So what kind of references does Oxford require? Academic, professional? What do you think should be the content of the reference letters that would help people?
So they require both academic and professional, depending on your course. But most likely not more than 3. From what I know. Yeah.
But is there a limit though? Or it's just 3, you must get 3?
Oh, so for me, I submitted only 2. That's a funny thing. So for my course, they said you needed 2 for your application for them to start the review process. And I never submitted the last one. I think the other, my third professional referee, I don't know, something happened. I can't remember.
Wow.
So depending on your course, like I said, they will specify. That's why you need to do your research. That's the first thing we agreed on, right? Your research will tell you what they need from you. So for the professional reference, I mean,
how do you choose your references as your referees?
Your referees.
Like, how do you know who to choose?
Who to choose? So I think it's just, for me, the way that I decided was, for academic was someone that I had done a lot of work with.
Exactly.
My professor wasn't just he wasn't just my teacher. After I graduated, in fact, while I was a student, so I helped him in collecting data for some of his research. After we finished his course, I collected some data for some research he was doing on gender-based violence or something like that. And then when I graduated, I did a bit of work with him again, research. Analyzing data using SPSS and stuff like that. So for all of my other lecturers, it was just, they knew me, that I was an exceptional student or good student or whatever.
Exactly.
But this person we had some kind of work together aside from strictly academics. So he could attest to the fact that I was a great student, but then he could also attest to my research skills, which was something that was very important to me. Especially
so for people that don't have that strong academic strength, what would you say the academic referees should write?
Well, so a way to do it, I don't know how it's done for the different departments, but let's say that maybe your overall you didn't get like a very strong result, but maybe there's a course that you did very well. You could approach a lecturer in that course. At least that person has some idea of a good academic performance that you did, and then that's what the person will be attesting to, right? The way you performed in their course. So that would be my advice. Let's say you don't have a strong academic, but there's
overall grade,
but there's a course that you did very well. You could approach, that lecturer.
But if you have a good relationship with the lecturer, just explain that you want to do because there was someone as well, I think that got traveling, and then he had a tutu. But the way his lecturers wrote it, they focused more on his thinking, his participation, his abilities, and then they tried to even focus more on his recent work as opposed to just saying, because you have to just find a way, basically. You just have
the way that I tell people is that this is so in med school we have something we call a viva, an oral interview sort of. So this is your oral interview. And these people don't know you, and they're only going to judge you from what you make available to them. So make sure that while considering the truth, don't lie. Make the most available truth to them.
Yes,
That is
the
that
best
was shining
truth.
the best truth to them. Yeah, that was shining a good light. That's the best way to say it.
That's it. Anything that is bad, don't lie about it. Just don't include it. That's just it. Like, do you get? There's a way you can basically put it all together that you're not
Sell
lying,
yourself,
but you just
like package yourself to look great.
you just have to like. Sometimes there's some of this application when you're doing some things, you might not even know the reason you're doing it out of passion. But then when you're not applying and you think about it together, there's a way you can there's a way you can actually put everything into perspective that it seems like maybe you already even knew from the beginning. But you're not necessarily lying, you're just basically putting it all into perspective, basically. So for professional, what would you say would be the criteria to choose a professional referee?
Someone you've worked with, that has a good you have a good working relationship with and working experience with. I mean, I would say that, because it depends on everything. The reference is supposed to portray you in a good light. So find someone that can do that, both for your personal and for your academic and professional.
Your professional referee, must it be like your boss, or can it be a colleague? Can it be head of department? And then for people that are entrepreneurs, what kind of professional referees are they going to get as well? Because for me, like, I had to the referee I used was like somewhere at work that I was no longer even working there again. But I felt like, the work I had done had helped me. But I'm just imagining that someone that finished from school and has only worked on their own brand, like what kind of references? Well, maybe volunteering though.
So the thing is this, when you meet it, you just raise a very important point. As an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you're an entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure you've worked with other people. So who else have you worked with? And something to consider, I would say that the credibility of your referee, So what is this person's status? Like some people talk about choosing professors. My referee wasn't a professor, but he's head of a department in school.
Same here, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can't I wouldn't say just like it could just be a college. If you can get someone that has achieved a lot, it speaks to the person's credibility. Exactly. Not just any random person. Yeah.
And even to you as a person, being able to have a relationship with that person.
Exactly. I mean, how would they imagine that you're sitting in your office and you receive 2 letters, one from somebody with just a BSc and one with a PhD? Come on. The funny thing is that people think that this
because you want to make sure every point you get a high score.
Yeah, do you think these people that review this, they are human beings? Just put yourself in their position. They're human beings like you and I. I'm not a robot. And even if it was a robot, they will even program the robot with some human feelings. So So I think someone with a strong background, a thought leader in their field, that's the best way to put it. That would be a good person to choose. Like
for me, I think one of my professional reference was actually endorsed by the Arts Council of England. Mm-hmm. So I ensured that he put it, like I told him, please put it under. I know that you don't like putting it, but just write it so that you know that this person is a creative, he knows exactly what he's saying, and he can attest to who she is as well. And then
exactly.
I think for the application though, like the scholarship, I used 2 professional, but then for the schools, I think you definitely need at least 1 academic or so. So it was an head of department. All the man knew about me literally was academics though. But I just told him, okay, sir, I'm doing this now. I even sent him links so that he can have a perspective about what I'm doing now, because you wouldn't want him to write outdated information. You want him to write what is recent.
Keep him up. There's something that's very important that I need to mention. Some of the websites actually have pointers of the content of the reference.
Of the reference, exactly.
So
send it to them.
Research.
And you can even give them examples in case you don't know. Let me just tell you, professional, I've done this. I'm not going to take for academic already, but professional, I've done this. Let me share you the link. Don't lie, obviously. You can't expect somebody to lie, but it's always good to let them know exactly what you've done and maybe what you're thinking about, because most of them don't have the time. There was somebody that wrote a reference for me. It was an emeritus professor, but he wrote 2 lines Faith Agbola is a smart student and I believe that she would do well. That's all he wrote. Like, that's literally all he wrote.
Oh
I
my
couldn't use it. It was the Professor Emeritus, but I couldn't use it because maybe the mistake I made was I didn't tell him that, sir, they need like 2 pages. It's not 2 lines. Do you get to tell them, like, literally tell them.
Yeah.
So aside from the referees, the statement of purpose, and the CV, was there anything else that your application required?
Oxford application. Honestly, I can't remember.
Did you do an interview though for Oxford?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So what's the process after submitting?
You submit and then you wait. Yeah, no, it didn't require anything else. I'm just visualizing the application page. It didn't require anything else. I applied for scholarships too, so I'm confusing the portal. But Oxford, in my head. No, but also didn't require anything else. So for the interview, it was just pretty much they sent you an email, time and date. Please, the Nigerian time is different from the UK time. That's something that people really make mistake with. Time difference is real.
Like now,
absolutely.
We're like 1 hour, I think, ahead.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're 1 hour ahead because I know that it was 1 p.m. our time, 2 p.m. Nigerian time. So
okay. Yeah. So then that's Nigeria is 1 hour ahead of us. The gist is that some people actually miss their interview because of time differences and things like that.
Wow.
Google is your friend. I've said this 1,000 times. Just Google it. You'll know the time anywhere in the world. So you sit down, get ready. If you're using your phone, put your phone on airplane mode. It's crazy that I have to say these things, but I mean, put your phone on. Because imagine having an interview and someone's calling.
Sorry, do you know how that even looks? And then even for like your background, your environment, tell everybody I'm in a video. You don't want to be doing an interview and then somebody walks in.
Look for a quiet place.
It tells them about who you are. They're literally looking for. You're already excellent. You got to the interview. So at that moment, they're looking for what to use to disqualify you. Don't make it easy for them. Like, don't give them.
Yes, girl. Don't give them a reason. So it was just like basically that, So I read about some questions.
What kind of questions? Okay.
So they asked about leadership. Obviously, you've been saying you're a leader in your CV and your statement. So my advice is just make sure that I know that you edit your CV based on the organization, the school.
So read for what you wrote for that one.
Exactly. Read your CV, read your statement of purpose. It's very important. I've just told you about someone that said something completely different from what was in it.
Don't do that. They just want to validate that you're the person that wrote that essay.
Yeah,
they want to know more about it, not something else.
So anyway, so they asked about leadership, I think. They asked about, what else did they ask me? Time management.
They asked me that as well.
Oh boy, I can't remember. Leadership, time management. Oh yeah, they asked about like what difference between international health, global health, tropical medicine. They asked about working with a diverse group. Like, how would you work with a group of? Because like in my class now, I think my classmates were in total like from 21 different countries. So they asked about, if you had any experience working with, people from diverse backgrounds. If you did, how did you accomplish that? Because diversity means that you have different thought processes, you have different opinions. How would you manage that diplomatically, I guess? They asked about, what else did they ask me? Yeah, I think it was just that. It was like 15 minutes or something. Yeah, it wasn't
just 15 minutes. Wow.
15 minutes I can make of my life.
Is that like a specified time?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. They didn't give a time.
Like
so
literally fast.
Yeah, so they just give you a time that they'll call you. They didn't give a duration of the interview. So yeah, that was it, and we were done.
All right, so that's for Oxford. Do you think any specific thing gave you an edge though? Like what? Because I'm sure you've met your classmates now, you've met people. What do you think from what you've seen is what Oxford is looking for in people?
Like, I think that it would be people that know exactly what they want to do. Like people, my classmates, they seem to have this clarity, where they've been, where they intend to go, things like that. And I think that they just, at least for the scholars, they just need to know that they're not going to waste the money, because a lot of money. They just need to know that they're not going to, they're going to waste the money that they're going to invest in you, and that you're ready to, you're going to be able to contribute to the school. You're going to be able to, bring some kind of value that you're bringing to the course, to the school, to the alumni network. I think, that was it.
Exactly. So now we're going to go to the scholarships. Yeah. Because I'm sure that people want to know like more about them. So I know you applied for 3 of them. You've told us about them. You said how you found out about them, but I'd like you to just go through them one by one. So let's start from the ExxonMobil Scholarship.
That's the best one. I didn't apply to ExxonMobil. So like some of the courses, if you do your research well, I love how I've been reiterating research. After now, someone will send me a mail from someone attending this and will send me an email and say, Mary Jane, how can I do research? Google.
How can I do research?
Google is your friend, guys.
Google,
honestly.
like you can literally Google how can I research? I'm kidding though, but like you can actually.
So basically, so some of the courses have scholarships for that specific course. That's like, so basically how I classify scholarships, external scholarships, which are the Commonwealth, Evening, all of that, the MasterCard, all those Erasmus, and then there are internal scholarships that are specific to the school and your course.
Exactly.
So the course, when you go through the website, you see the courses, the scholarships are available for you. You check the eligibility criteria. Most of them are dependent, I think, on your country after the course. Now you apply for those ones. Then for the ExxonMobil Global Health Scholarship, applying to this course specifically makes you eligible for the scholarship. Depending on your application, I think the university or the department chooses some applications that they will send to different scholarship agencies or whatever, I think. I'm not sure how it works.
All right.
Hello? Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, great. Okay, so so I didn't apply for the ExxonMobil scholarship. I just got an email one day and said, congratulations, your application has been chosen for the ExxonMobil scholarship. So yeah. In fact, the day I saw the email, I just knew. I said, wow, this is it.
So what you didn't even know about them, or did you know that this?
No, I knew. Hello, I did my research.
So was that something you did in your application that you felt like you checked it, or you just applied normally? Like you didn't impute any keywords? What did it help you to get that particular scholarship?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I can't say that there's something specific. I think just like I said, for you to get a scholarship, the way that I see it is that they have to be sure that their money is not going to go to waste. I think my application really showed that, in the way that I have my career plans. So the gist is, how are you going to use the resources that we've given to you?
Exactly.
To whom what is given, what is expected.
What is expected.
So if your essay and your application process and your career plans have shown that, this person has been making some effort they know where they want to go, and they've been making some efforts to get to where they want to be, I think that's all you need.
Exactly. Like I really love how everybody's just literally in sync, like constantly, because most people always say scholarships are for people that know where they want to go and then are working towards, like it's not about I just want to be this person. It's about I have this dream, I have this passion, I've been working on it, but then I believe that this scholarship, this fund will help me to do what I'm already doing better, or to get me from, let's say I
To
want
the
to get
next
to like
stage,
100%, I'm at 50%, but I know that if I didn't get the scholarship, maybe I'll have next 5 years, maybe 10%, I'll be like 60, but with this scholarship you can get me to 100. Do you get?
Absolutely.
You want to be sure that you're already doing it. That's why I always advise that it's best to apply for something that is related to what you're already doing. Like for you now, most of your experiences, from what I checked, is related to public health. For me as well, I have a brand that is a creative brand. Everything I am basically is a creative. My references, I also chose people in the creative space.
Absolutely.
And then obviously when they now say, oh, MSc Creative Enterprise, they will not be questioning because they know that, okay, she has goals in this particular aspect. So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Like I absolutely agree with you. There's a question before we move to the other scholarships. I think she said, is it compulsory is Oxford strictly for first class holders? That's the first question. And then secondly, do all Oxford students wear the black and white uniform?
Oh, for the first question, no, it's not for first class holders. We actually talked about this earlier, Faith, right? It's not. It's
you have a tutu though that got into Oxford.
Tutu. Well, I don't know about my current classmates, but I know someone currently, right now, that has got an interview tomorrow. Someone that I'm mentoring for Oxford University. She has an interview tomorrow for the same course that I got into, and she has a tutu. So I think that answers your question.
You had it right?
Yeah. So the second part would be,
what do you think is helping her though? Like obviously
experience.
Exactly.
Her experience and her drive. This is someone that knows where she wants to go, and she's been working
on it.
Yeah.
Because how they know that you really mean what you're saying is by what you're already doing. Like you need to match your words with action. Like I want to be, I don't know, obviously I want to maybe impact the creative space. What am I already doing? I want to change education in Nigeria. Am I volunteering in like educational NGOs? Do I have an NGO for education? Have I done projects for education? Have I attended events on education? Have I been a speaker? Or have I been a volunteer, even if I'm not a speaker? Have I been mentored? Like what have I taken courses, free courses online on education? Like what have I done? Like if I didn't get this courses, will I still do this?
What about paid courses? Young people, there was an interview. I read something on Twitter. I don't know how true. People always put all the stories, but I think there's a lesson to learn from it. Apparently, some guy went to an interview, and then I think the interviewer saw him using like an iPhone, and it was maybe like an iPhone 11 or something like that. So I'm like, okay. And then went through his CV and realized that he hadn't even taken any courses since like maybe 2010 or something. And it's something I noticed that young people are more interested in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm using an expensive phone too. I'm not saying, but if you look at my CV, I realized something. Do you know, since I graduated from school, I've been taking paid courses every year. I didn't even know. Since I graduated. So that was even something that, so one of the questions, just remember the question they asked me in my interview. So how are you going to get back to being a student after working for so long? And I told them, I believe that I'm always learning. I mean, I've been taking courses since I graduated from school, so it's just be like, going back to what I've been doing, something like that,
Exactly. Do you understand? Like, exactly. You can't just say, because I believe in my abilities. You need to give them something specific,
practical.
Like they asked me how I'm going to manage, the scholarship, manage the studies, manage my personal goals. I said, while I was in school, I was doing this and this. Like, I was part of the library unit, I was doing this. When I finished from school as well, I've been juggling this, and this. Like, you have to tell them, like, when you're giving examples, when you're answering questions, you need to actually tell them the exact thing. Don't just say, like, generic things. Actually say, like, specific things as well. We have some questions.
Okay.
Let me just see.
Oh, I think she asked 2 questions.
Okay.
Answer the second one. No, she asked 2 questions.
The second one was do all Oxford students wear black and white?
Oh no, honey. So that is just for specific events. So the black and white is for exams or matriculation or graduation. It's not a uniform for school.
I noticed that though, and I was just wondering,
no, it's just for events and exams.
Okay, there's another question. Sorry guys, I'm using my phone. Yeah, how can one be part of the Oxford Mentorship Group?
So just Google Oxford Africa Society. So when you click on the website, I think you have directions. Not sure what the steps are, but just check the website, Oxford Africa Society.
Okay. So let's just go into the scholarships themselves as well.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any question on Oxford? Because I don't want us to just keep going back. So if you have any questions, literally just drop it, and we'll answer it. But let's just go into the scholarship because of time. Because I know that you have to read, and trust me, I have to read as well. So anyways, let's go into scholarship. We talked about the ExxonMobil one, so let's talk about Commonwealth, because I know that people have been trying these scholarships, and they've not been getting selected. I know people that have applied for about 8 Commonwealth shares. The speaker we had last, she got the Erasmus and Chevron, but she applied for about 10 Commonwealth shared scholarships and got none.
Wow.
So there's another question on Oxford though, before we go into that. Someone said, what kind of publications does Oxford expect when they ask about essays and journals?
Interesting. So for me, I don't have any published work, putting it out there. So it's great, especially if so there are 2 types of masters. There's a research and a taught, especially if you're going for a research master's degree, obviously. So you have to demonstrate some kind of strong research background experience. So whatever it is that you've published, I'm not sure what you mean by the type of publication, but whatever research.
So let me give an example, because I also had that issue previously. So people might want to ask, maybe it's like a journal, whether it's a newspaper publication, whether it's a blog, or whether it's related to your field, whether it's academic, whether it's in an institution. Those things are a bit tricky.
So I think I would imagine that depending on the course that you're interested in, those will be specified in the eligibility criteria. So if it's maybe for public health, I'm pretty sure that what they would be interested in would be maybe research that you've published, right? So in peer-reviewed journals and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they'll be interested in newspaper publications and things like that. It could be, but it wouldn't be. So you could add them. I think your CV, it's a reflection. You're going to try to reflect what you want what you want the panel to see. So if you think it's something relevant, you can put it on there, but I think most of them will be specified in the eligibility criteria or requirements for your application.
All right, sorry my video is off. I just wanted to quickly check something. So let's just go straight into the Commonwealth Scholarship.
Right.
I've not seen any question on Oxford, so let's just answer that. And then if you have any question on Oxford, before we move to the next one, then we'll talk about it. So I know there's Commonwealth Shared, and then there's normal Commonwealth as well.
Yeah.
People are always confused on the difference. Can you just clarify for us, for people that maybe are quite confused about it? And then what the 2 different scholarships entail, and maybe we can ask that with one and then the other on the processes.
Okay, so the Commonwealth Scholarships are a range of scholarships. So they have Commonwealth Masters shared. I think they have the one they call the split site. Those for the PhD. There are several. Like I said, Google is your friend. In fact, I think Google should pay me. I'm advertising them too much. But the gist is that you just go on the website. I think for master's students is the Masters, Commonwealth Masters and Commonwealth Shared, right? I'm not sure. Then there's also the Commonwealth Distance Learning for those that want to do an online course. So the Masters usually, they work for Nigerians. They work through nominating agencies. So nominating agency in Nigeria is the Federal Scholarship Board. So they're the ones that you pass through after you filled your, so when you're filling out the application, they'll ask you for your nominating agency, which you have to choose. Like, it's your scholarship board. I'm not sure what it's, I'm not sure what it's written like. I think it's FSB. I'm not sure actually, but you have the option to choose. And you choose your nominating body and you fill out the application. Now, Commonwealth Shared, on the other hand, is, and then Commonwealth Masters, you have to choose 3 schools on that particular application that you have applied to those schools or you intend to apply to those schools. Now, for Commonwealth Shared, you send a single application for each school. So let's say that you wanted to apply to 3 schools or 10 schools in the UK. You have to send one different application at a time, and they don't require a nominating body. So that's like the main difference from, like, that's what I know anyway.
Okay, so let's focus on the specific schools that you applied to. What were the schools that you applied to in the Commonwealth Shared?
Oh, just Oxford.
Just Oxford. Oh,
I sent, it was so funny. I sent one application for the Commonwealth Shared, and I got it. So it was very interesting. Yeah. The Commonwealth Masters, I applied to other schools. I got it. Like I told you, I got admitted to, how many schools I get admitted to in the UK? I can't remember. I think there were like 4. Or something. Oxford, Leeds, what's the other one? London School. Oh, that's the school. I was almost going to go to London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. What's the other one? No more than 3 though. Glasgow. That's in Scotland. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the Commonwealth Masters and Commonwealth Share, they're not so different if we're going to talk about the application process. In fact, the portal, it's the same organization as offers. So the portal they look alike. The only difference is just what I've mentioned, that the Commonwealth Masters, you have to go through the Federal Scholarship Board, and the Federal Scholarship Board actually has an interview that you come up with, and then show them your documents, and then they will send the documents. Those documents will be the documents that you've uploaded on the application website. So you put them all together, and then they will go through a process based on the interview they had with you on the interview day, and then choose applications from that pile and send to the UK. Now, for the Commonwealth Shared, you don't need any of that. Your application just goes straight to the UK, and then they will choose. So there's something. So you, in the Masters, if you don't get nominated if your application doesn't get chosen by Federal Scholarship
Did you see
Board,
that comment about you?
No, I didn't. Let me see. What did they say?
Is it that just one Commonwealth Scholarship application and you got selected? Are you sure you'll not be the next president of Nigeria in 5 years?
Yes. Yes. I would love that. I love my country so much. I would love the chance to be able to do something to help Nigeria, because let's not get into that. Anyway, so what was I saying?
You're talking about the 2 scholarships. So I want to focus on the eligibility, because you applied once, so I'm sure that you must have done a lot of things right. What would you say? So let's even break down the application process in itself. So the way we broke down the Oxford, aside from the interview, like how many essays, what are the essays focus, what do they need?
They need, right. So like I said, the Commonwealth Masters and Shared have the same questions. The essay questions are the same. And the only difference that I would say...
You write the exact same thing though.
Literally, I just copied it and pasted it, like posted it on the other. It was the same application. I'm telling you, when I talk to people about this, they don't understand. Like, they think I'm joking. I'm serious. It was the same application.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the same. Did it change? No. Obviously, the only way that it would change would be like when I was making reference to the course. Oh, is there an application fee for Oxford? Yes, there's an application fee for Oxford, but if you go through the Oxford Africa Society, like I mentioned, you can apply for an application fee waiver. Their website, yes.
So guys, that's your plug. Go to the Oxford Africa Society.
absolutely.
Please, they mentor PhD students, please. Thank you.
I don't know. But I mean, we can talk about it. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. Anyway,
well, second master, yeah. I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness, that's so
I can't even read anything right now. Like I'm not reading. Like what I'm reading is enough.
Yeah.
For now,
girl. Nah, second masters. No, I don't think so. I mean, if I'm gonna do it, it's just gonna be a PhD. It's just
let's just move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the essays. So you said you pasted the exact same thing. So what were the focus? Like, what were the questions of different essays?
Oh, that's gonna be tricky.
But like, okay, what were the focus of the essays? So you know that this one is for
they ask you. Oh yeah. So they ask. Can you just give me a minute? Because so this is a pro tip for every person that's on here. Save all your applications. So what I do if I want to apply for a position or anything, I copy the question from whatever website into my Word document that I'm working on. So that when I'm done, I usually save it. The reason is that, first of all, is that just like what I said, maybe if you get called for an interview, and then they're asking you a question, and then you're mixing up what you said in this application with something you said in another application. That's one.
That's
so
already
it's just because like now, I mean, I could help people. I mean, I'm not gonna send anybody my essay. Don't even bother.
Like, please never ask a scholar for their essay. Please, it's not nice actually, because it's their truth that they wrote in it. Their private mistake, and it will affect you because you will write like them.
Yes, and it's not good. It's not good.
It's plagiarism.
You can ask me for directions,
for tips and guidance, or let me read yours, as opposed to, because I know someone that sent his essay to someone and then the person literally lifted paragraphs. As in, God, I was just like, and the truth is that sometimes you might not even want to do it, but subconsciously, if you read someone's essay, you want to write like them. You will lose your own personal touch. I advise that you don't do it because you will lose it.
Mm-hmm. Just a minute, I'm trying to find it. So the Commonwealth application has, I think, a group of either 6 or 7 questions. They have a word count too on the application portal. So I'm not sure. I know for the Masters and the Share, they're the same questions. I don't know about the distance learning. So basically, in the way that it's structured, is really the same thing that we talked about. Either you and the course, or your future plans. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you have to be clear about where you want to go. Otherwise, you won't be able to put it down. It's a very one thing we can all agree on is applying for positions is quite hectic. It requires a lot of brain power, and if you don't have that clarity, it will be quite difficult for you to be able to put that down on paper. Okay, just a minute. I have opened it. Commonwealth. Sorry, you need to see my computer. I applied for
the lot that is on it, guys.
Always
so
applying
anyways,
for things.
I know that someone, when the person was filling the form, someone is asking about PhD.
Okay.
I think it's you that's going to answer that question because I didn't apply for Commonwealth. It really depends on the scholarship body or the school. But I want you to talk about Commonwealth. The person asking about PhD. For PhD, do you apply to the school or do you apply to the Commonwealth application? I think it's 2 different applications too. But what do you think?
It's two different
applications.
Oh yeah.
It's only if they specify. I feel like they will actually specify. So some schools, for MasterCard, you apply for the scholarship, and then once you get the scholarship, then they'll give you the admission. But I know for Commonwealth Training, I think it's 2 different applications. They're not going to help you to get admission into the school, even for PhD as well. For PhD, I think you even need to reach out to a potential supervisor, check it out, check if there's even somebody available, have conversations with them, so that you won't just apply for something and you won't get it.
Yeah.
So, any progress with that though?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Letterheaded paper. Oh.
And then somebody else also asked about I think it was inspiration.
Inspiration for.
The person talked about the fact that she has been applying for scholarships year in, year out, and she has been getting rejected. And she just wants to know maybe what could she be doing wrong. I really just think that.
So to answer that question, I would need to talk to you personally. You can find me on social media, send me a message, because I can't tell you what you're doing wrong when I don't even know what you're doing.
And sometimes you might be doing everything right, and it's just not you just need an extra push. So I know people that are phenomenal, but maybe it's just one specific thing that doesn't work out for them. It's not membership. I think she said mentorship though. She said she has been to the Oxford Africa Society website, and the membership is for former students. I don't know where to get information.
No, it's not membership.
It's mentorship.
Oh yeah, it's mentorship. Why don't you just give me a minute? My laptop is searching for that file. Let's see whether I can find it. Oxford Africa Society. But yeah, I see what she means. It's hang on.
Someone said how to get volunteering experiences. Honestly, like there's no one particular way. Literally, you need to know exactly what you're interested in, and then research organizations in your community that you can apply to. Like, it's not like there's one place that will give you all the information that you need. You have to be willing to actually search on social media. So I don't know if you're passionate about the girl child, check for organizations about the girl child, passionate about health. Literally just look for companies, and it doesn't have to be the biggest company in the world. Honestly, it doesn't have to be international companies. It can literally be a mini foundation that you know that you can have an impact. It's even best to have an impact in a small space and you help them to grow, as opposed to maybe being like a drop in an ocean. So I won't say that there's one particular website, honestly, but I know you've done a lot of volunteering though. But like for me, just find the organization. Does it resonate with you? Apply, volunteer. Literally.
Okay, to answer your question, please just go to the website. They have a menu button there. Send. There's a message. There's a page about the mentorship program. Send them an email. They have the contact email. Send them an email that you'd like to be part of it. There's no link to directly subscribe on the website, but you can send them an email and then they'll answer your questions or get you enrolled. I don't know if they're still taking for this year, but it won't hurt to try.
That could be another reason though. So maybe they could
tell you because I already have a mentee, so I don't really know if they're still taking for this year. Okay, this is crazy. I can't seem to find that. Why?
He said someone says he has found the link. Here's the link.
Oh, great. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Letter-headed papers, Oxford. For some crazy reason, I can't seem to find the I wrote it down, like all the questions. I wrote them down to be able to answer questions like this. It's crazy. I would have checked for it before this interview if I knew that people would be interested in going through the details. But so that's fine. So basically I know they have a set of 6 or 7 questions that they ask you. Yeah, I think I found it.
And for boot camps and events that you can volunteer with, literally just follow like some platforms, like all these opportunities platforms, all these communities, maybe communities for young people, for creatives, depending on your field. Find out virtual communities for women. Like I think I follow AGS Tribe, Lady Ladies Africa.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you could also try that.
It's about building your network. Well. Yeah. Opportunity desk, like we mentioned earlier, like those are things that I started doing. Because most young people are always on social media. You spend 7-8 hours every day on social media. You're not using it for your good.
Follow these pages, like literally.
Okay, so I found it.
AGS Tribe has a lot of information that they share. So
what do you call it?
Check that out. AGS Tribe. I know that they share a lot of information. like opportunities volunteering, especially for women though. You just have to literally just research it honestly and be specific to your community. You would always find things. Just ensure that you're following them so that you can get like information in real time, because whatever it is you're looking for. So even if you're in the agricultural sector, you can check, okay, volunteering opportunities for the agricultural space, foundations in agriculture, or just go on Instagram, type the keyword as well. Like you just have to be intentional about it, like literally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that there's one place to get everything that you need. You just have to be able to go out and find it. And then maybe you can join groups as well. Somebody mentioned the WhatsApp group. It's just that sometimes you have to be careful with some of these groups as well. But yeah, you could also join groups as well. As you attend events, they will actually create groups, and in those groups they'll actually share stuff as well. So it really depends on a lot of different factors. Have you been able to find it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, guys.
There are a list of 7 questions. I was right. So the first one talks about how your proposed study relates to development issues at global, national, and local levels. So the Commonwealth Scholarship has, I think, 6 or 7 areas of interest. For public health, it's like health related, but they have environment, things like that. So you do your research by yourself, find out where your focus, like your expertise fits into this, and then find out the development issues that you're addressing, and then that's how you answer this question. So the thing about Commonwealth essays is that they give you, so this question is what? How many words? Let me see. I think it's
like
so question one has
right?
question 1 has A and B, and A is 100 words.
What?
Is 100. I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now. So you must, like, every single word, don't come and be bamboozling them with words. Every single word that you are putting in your essay must contribute in driving home your message. There's no space for vagueness. There's no space for speaking English.
I don't even speak English, honestly. Like, too much English. Like, they don't need for grammar, because
look,
they're reading a lot. Don't give them a day.
If you write an essay that I'll have to go and Google the word to find out what you're trying to say,
that's the end.
Puts me off. Yeah.
Tell stories. Make it feel like they're reading a story as opposed to reading like an academic paper.
Yeah.
Like, because they're already bored.
Yeah. So that's the first one. Then the second one is development issues connected to your CSC theme. That's the Commonwealth theme that I told you about, 7 themes or so, and the wider sector.
Just Google CSC themes, because I know that the next question will be what are the themes. Just Google it, honestly. I'm sure that, because even what she might be saying might not be update the latest news. It's always good to just check it.
Exactly.
So just Google the CSC themes, and then you'll be able to know which one your study aligns with.
Absolutely. Second question says, how do you intend to apply your new skills and qualifications when you return home? 100 words.
That's serious. So.
I'm telling you, like, yeah. So that when you're done with your essay, when you obviously, like, another advice would get people to review your essays, and it will be very helpful for you.
Even if it's friends, let another eye read it, or someone trusted, or a colleague or something. And if you can get past scholars, even perfect. But if you can't get them, you can just get someone that is insightful and let them see, like, what is required, and let them read it as well. Because there's some errors. There was a friend of mine that is not even like into all of this development work, and the first essay that I wrote for this Chevron application, I sent it to her. She was like, "Oh, nice." So like the second one, she was like, "This is so boring. Like, I literally slept off reading this." I was like, "What?" This was just my friend that doesn't even have any experience in scholarships. Like, and I had to literally rewrite the entire thing. And now that I read that essay and read the new, and I'm like, okay. So
girl,
if your
when
friend
I saw my first essay
through, then don't think that somebody that read 1,000 essays will read it. It will not.
Absolutely.
Make it interesting. Like, I always tell people to use situation, task, action, and results. So what is the situation? So if they ask you, tell us about how you have been a leader, for example. Don't just say, "Oh, I was a founder of this company," or "Oh, I've done this project." put it into perspective. So for example, maybe you have an NGO, you can start with the situation. Oh, I discovered this problem that people have, and then the action. Oh, I knew that I needed to do this. Do you get? Sorry, the task. I knew that I needed to do this, and then the action. Okay, what exactly did you do? What were the things that you did? So maybe the action could be creating the organization, or if you're on an organization, starting off the project, and then what was the result? How many lives were touched? And not just numbers. Don't say 1,000 people were touched. What percentage of them did you follow up with? How many of them actually? Can you say that it's not just numbers? Because people say, oh, I spoke to 1,000 people. Okay, how many people in that 1,000 in that audience actually have like results as well? And so if you say, oh, I have a foundation, okay, reach 2,000 people in the community, what is the follow-up? So I feel like follow a journey. Don't just say, oh, situation, I'm founder, I'm this and this and that. Like literally, that's not going to work. So for the questions, I know for this Commonwealth, it's very important that people understand what the questions require, because scholarships differ. So if you can just explain to us, like, what do you think question 1 requires, what do you think question 2 requires, and stuff like that.
All right, so let's go through that. Excuse me. So the first question, I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward how your study relates to development issues. So that would be, let's say that I am interested in studying public health. So obviously there's a plethora of so most low income countries or whatever are suffering from mostly infectious disease, maternal and child mortality, something like that, and then now rising cases of non-communicable diseases. Please, if you're not a medic, just don't bother, right? I'm trying to create a story here, and I'm trying to study international health or global health, whatever. So the way I would relate it would be that, my course, which is international health, is involved with focuses on maybe in communicable diseases that are occurring in low and middle income countries. So how do you marry both of them together? That's the question, basically. So it could be I'm telling you from international health or public health because that's my interest, but it could literally be anything. It could be that you're studying some kind of environmental course, and you want to relate it to pollution in Nigeria or in your country, wherever, if you know what's in Nigeria, anywhere in your country. So, or you're talking about creative writing, and you want to relate it to jobs or young people or youth work or something like that, youth development. So basically, you see, the principles of essays don't change. That's the way that I see it. Like, it's the principle of it. It's just like what we're talking about when I talked about doing the research about your school and marrying your work with the school. So this is marrying your course with the development work. Commonwealth is funded by, I think, FCDO now. It's now called FCDO. And these are UK organizations, and the FCDO have a lot of work in developing countries to try to improve developing countries. So they are looking for people that are going to
help them with that
help them do the work.
Exactly.
So why would they spend 60 or 70 pounds on you when you're not helping their work, or when you don't intend to help their work? So how do your goals align with theirs? So
very important.
Yeah. So the second one says development issues connected to your chosen CSC theme and the wider sector. It's basically the same thing that we just discussed, right? The second question is, how do you intend to apply your new skills? So that's what we're talking about when you come back home. When you have your vision, you know what you want to do when you get back. You're going to be able to answer this question in 100 words. If this was 500 words, everybody can answer it now. But the real task is being able to condense it into 100 words and still be convincing. Every single word I wrote here had to count. Is 100 words, and I think this was 96. It's funny, I still remember this. It's so ridiculous. I still remember the word count of it. Anyway, so the next one is what you expect will change in development following your studies, including the outcomes that you aim to achieve, the time frame, and who the beneficiaries will be. I feel like we've had this conversation. I'm just going back.
Actually, we have actually.
Yeah. But this is a bit longer. It's 250 words.
But you could just touch it briefly, though.
Briefly. Okay, great. All right. So, what outcomes do you intend to achieve? So, basically the thing is, what do you intend to do? What do you think that your work, like when you come back, let's say you come back, you started your work, you started working in the field that you said you'd be interested in your essay. What outcomes are you trying to make better in that field, right?
Exactly.
How long would you think it would take you? And who are the people that will benefit from this? So it could be, for me, it was about young girls. For you, perhaps it could be youths. For you, it could be old people. For you, it could be just women. For you, it could be children. Who are you trying to?
It could be underprivileged people. It could be a minority group. It could be exactly. Know who you're doing it for.
Exactly. So who is your crowd? Who are your beneficiaries?
It can't be everybody.
It can't. And if you say everybody,
can't change the entire world.
Don't know. You are not ready. It's not feasible. You can't. Even this masters cannot give you the opportunity to help everybody.
Exactly.
If you say everybody, then what you're saying is not feasible.
You can't say you want to change the whole of Nigeria. No. Mm-hmm. There was somebody's essay I was reading and said, "Oh, he wants to change Nigeria." I was like, I don't understand. Change what? Is it as a politician? Is it as an educational is it as a creative? Is it as a public health? Like, what exactly? Do you understand? Because they have different departments. So which one will align with you? Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So I feel like you have to have thought it through, like you said. Like, you have to know exactly what it is you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. So the next question talks about how the impact of your work will be measured. 100 words. So
I like that.
So basically, you doing your interventions in any group or in any community. There's the way we discuss this thing. So in, I think, project or program management, you have what you call your outputs, outcomes, impact, things like that. I'm not going to go into the definitions now. You can check on Google. Google is your friend. Anyway, but basically, how are they going to measure the effects of what you've done? How will you know that what you're doing has contributed to the wider sector?
Or that's not what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. So this would be surveys, research, or you're collecting data during your monitoring it, monitoring evaluation, we don't want to go into that. But basically, how are you going to be monitoring what you've done? How are you going to evaluate it? And how would you say, oh, I've reached so and so people in the time frame that you said your project was going to take in the previous question. So, after you've said that, obviously, you know that for maternal health, for example, you know that it would contribute to like maybe global maternal mortality rates in Nigeria, that's maternal mortality rates in Nigeria, for example, or fertility rates, or something like that. So you might say that you're going to monitor those things. Those are a bit wider. They're a bit wider than what you're talking about. But you could say that you intend that what you're doing here will, in the long run, impact in the maternal mortality rate of Nigeria in the long run, something like that. There has to be some kind of metric that you're trying to either reduce or increase. If it's employment, obviously you're trying to increase, something like that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You have a question, though.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Mary Jane. Thank you for the inspiration and insights on scholarship. Faith, thank you for the platform. International Health vs. Global Health vs. Master in Public Health vs. MSc Public Health. Planning to Google the difference after this session. I'm interested in the field. I would be really delighted if you could give your perspective on the course so far. Is it interesting? I know that you have interest in the adolescent population. Has this been well covered in the course, or the course covers areas in international challenges and interventions in and of health, respectively? So really
Where do we
detailed
start?
question.
Okay, wait, I just need to see it so I can answer, because it seems like it's a lot. Okay. International health. So international health and global health are two terms that some organizations use interchangeably, others don't. In Oxford, they are not the same thing. International health is basically public health in low and low income status, so low middle income countries, right? So you're looking at infectious or communicable disease mostly, although now we're having a double burden of disease where we're seeing an increase in non-communicable diseases, right? In low and middle income countries. For global health, is basically public health in high income countries. So it's basically the infections, or I say infections, diseases that affect high income countries, which are mostly NCDs. Master in public health versus MSc in public health. Well, I imagine that those are different terms that are used by different universities. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I don't know any more. Planning to Google difference after this course. I'm just in the field. I would be great if you could give it a course so far. Oh yeah, the course is amazing. Specifically, my course is International Health and Tropical Medicine. So far it's been great, very interesting, very engaging. We're, especially with everything that's going on with COVID, Oxford vaccine, we are interacting with people that are working on the vaccine, the modeling for.
Wow, that's amazing.
Well, it's amazing. Actually, it's like it's been, honestly, I can't even. It's amazing, and the way they structure the course, we have like
it's
lectures,
practical.
Yes, and as well as seminars that you get to interact with these people, ask them questions, and then there are also placement projects and things like that. It's amazing. I know you have.
It's worth the work, guys. Try it out.
Definitely.
Why are we not seeing your face though?
I'm looking at the question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's going to be on YouTube.
Oh, I'm coming. I know you haven't just this. Oh yeah. So okay, I'm back. Anyway, so adolescent health is being covered in the course, but it's covered as the modules for next term. So basically, if you go through the website, you have the core modules, which are the ones that we do in the first term, and then the optional modules. So there are several optional modules. I chose maternal and child health. We did do adolescent health as one of the one of the aspects of the core modules, but we'll still do maternal and child health, where we'll focus on adolescent health too as well. So it's very interesting. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So let's just go through the essays.
Okay, so the next part of the essay talks about objectives during this award. So what do you intend to do during the award? I know you learn about the course. So this is where, if you're welcome, Steve. If you've done the research about the course and specific things that you want to learn about the course, you can mention it here. Obviously, like something that every student should mention would be the opportunity to learn from different group or diverse group of students and alumni and things like that. So aside from the specifics that you learn from the course, learning from your classmates, it's just also something that is very, very huge. And just this term, like alone, I've learned a lot from my classmates. I'm interacting with them, so that's also something that you should consider. Then the next part goes into the career plans in 5 years following this award, which we have talked about. So here you would talk about obviously your immediate career plans and 2 to 5. So 1 year, 2 to 5, like we discussed. Then the next question talks about your long-term career plans, which we discussed too. So like I said to people, that's it. So and this is the same question for both our masters and shared. So like we said earlier, and like I told a lot of young people, if you have a clarity of where you want to be, honestly, these essays are not that difficult. I mean, obviously, you might need to flesh it out to look, to be more robust and, to be able to pass across your message. But having that 10-year plan will really, really make things easy for you. That's Absolutely. Yeah.
So aside from essays, what were the other things that the 2 applications required?
It's required. So aside from your essays, obviously your CV, your certificate from school, and all of that, your transcripts. Yeah, even for Oxford, I forgot to mention, I did submit my transcripts as well. They would for Oxford, they took the transcript that I sent first. Then if you pass, I think after the interview, if you pass, you need to get them to mail your transcript from your school, just so they can confirm that obviously what they have is
authentic.
It's authentic. Then certificates for community projects. So some of these NGOs some of the volunteer work that you do, some of them might give you certificates, certificate of participation, certificate of appreciation. Some of the courses that you take will give you a certificate of professional development. All those things are very important. That's your proof that everything you've written in your CV and your essays are not all lies.
Definitely.
So those were I think that was the only thing that I didn't submit in my Oxford application portal. I don't think the option was there. I can't remember. But for the Commonwealth portals, they have it. And obviously for masters, you have to take those certificates when you're going for the interview. Please don't take your original documents for the interview. I mean, take them, but also have a photocopy, because for masters, they will compile all those documents and send it to the UK. So you can't be sending your original documents. Some people bring, and pro tip on that day of the interview, it's crazy. A lot of people from the whole Nigeria, they're coming for the interview. So it's crazy. You might have difficulty finding where to do your photocopies, and the copies also might be expensive. Yeah, so have copies of your documents and then come with your separate files.
Your interview was in Abuja, right?
Yes, it was in Abuja. Yeah. So
I didn't apply for it, but when I saw the interview was in Abuja, I think it was clashing with another interview. And that was some years back. I wasn't that serious with it. I just didn't go. But I just wanted to confirm that, it was Abuja. Wow.
Yeah, it's Abuja, yeah.
And there were a lot of people there, right?
Girl.
I think it's everybody that applies that they interview.
No.
Or is there
I don't think so, actually. I think they have to send you a message, first of all. I'm not sure if they sent, because I know people
because all of me and my friends,
I applied. We all,
everyone.
One, but after the interview, they choose, depending on your score, they shortlist the people that are going to send their packages to the UK.
And that's not still final.
The UK will also choose their finalists. Yeah, so it's a bit tedious. In fact, it's more tedious than
some people think that, though, there's some hanky-panky in that. You think it's free and fair and transparent, or because some people believe that, maybe you need to know somebody to know somebody.
Oh no, I mean,
and then some people believe that if you don't have first class, don't go. Because I kept hearing people say things, I don't have first class, don't go.
So the thing is this, right? I don't agree to that. Exactly. It would depend on the I think, like I said to you, your experience is actually very important. People take it for granted, because one thing that I noticed was it was a lot of experience. Okay, for example, you have 2 doctors, okay, and then both of them, doctors don't have first class or second class. One of them has more experience, the other doesn't. The other one gets chosen over the one that doesn't have experience. So what would you say would be the factor there? So it's not just about, if you have first class, that's wonderful. But if you have a 2-2 with a lot of experience,
it's still wonderful as well.
Yeah, it's a strong. And
if you have a first class with no experience, trust me, fam, I don't think that is going to work out.
Some master's degree, they state it on their website. You need a certain level of
definitely. There are some that are even academic based, so it's just if you have a first class.
Yeah.
And then there's some that like for Commonwealth, Chevening, MasterCard,
work experience.
Erasmus, definitely you need work experience. Absolutely. Is there anything else in the application as well? So that we not keep you too long, because it's literally almost 2 hours. Like, oh my God. Like, it's amazing because we've been learning so much. We haven't like felt the time go, but like honestly. So what would you say is your final word for someone that wants to get a scholarship in 2021? Because there was someone that asked in the last session, what is that one thing or group of things that I need to do to ensure that I get a scholarship in 2021? What would you say to that person that wants to get at least one scholarship and travel abroad in 2021? It could be one, it could be numerous things. What would you say to the person?
Have your 10-year plan clearly in your head. Like she said, if I wake you up and say, where do you want to be in 5 years? You should know where you want to be. It really helps you. It gives you clarity, especially for the essay questions. Because when you don't have that, it really is difficult to put your thoughts down on paper. So have that. Get as much experience as you can in your relevant field of interest.
So if you want to get a scholarship next year, start working on it right now.
Start working.
Start applying,
Absolutely. And do your research. Google is your friend. I think that's my last. that's my parting remark.
Like, this has been literally amazing. Like, oh my God, I have learned like a whole lot from you. Like, we couldn't have had a better person to literally teach us today. Guys, this video is recorded and it's going to be up on my YouTube channel, AFM Stories. So if you want to go back to check it, it's AFM Stories. I also intend to create like a group. I've just not had the time. But if you did not register, you could just send me a DM on social media. Also, if you want to reach out to Dr. Mary Jane, you can just reach out to her on her social media. I don't know if you can just spell it for us because
Dr. MJ. Dr. MJ is DRENJJAE. Dr. MJ. That's it, like on every social media platform. Or my name, Mary Jane Ledger. Find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So thank you for having me. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to AFM Stories, and thank you for coming. And we look forward to growing. We're going to have somebody else next week or next 2 weeks. So awesome people like this, by the way. I'm sure you learned a lot from her. So anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next edition. Bye.